Hi guys, Dogger here with a new video, and this video is an update about Elemental Shaman, and it's not really a fully fledged guide because I'm going to do that at level 60. I'm currently level 56. I'm really doing only PvP right now because I want to have as many marks as possible so I can get the enhanced gear and eventually maybe the restoration gear. But for Elemental Shaman, I have the full gear pretty much, which I'm going to show you right now. So we have all the capacitator items. We have the off pieces, we have the neck, we have the ring. We didn't buy the second ring because it had no stamina, only spell power, which I find it counterproductive in PvP. You want as much stamina as possible, so I will try to hunt a ring that has crit and spell power with maybe intellect or stamina. Like something, I think there is something from blacksmith, which I have to find a blacksmith for that, which gives crit and spell power or hit and spell power, which is also quite good at my level. We have the unused spell damage, which is clearly worse than the passive one, so I'm going to chase the passive one. I can actually buy it right now, I have 35 marks, but it feels bad to buy another trinket while they could fix it, so I don't know. I like the shield, so I directly bought the shield. 1% crit, 9 spell power, 7 stamina, 6 intellect, a lot of armor. Currently rocking 43%, which is like a lot of physical damage reduction. Like your aim shot is not going to do 1k on me, so that's good. We have bindings of spell casting, which is also like off base from PvP, but also plus 7 stamina, so basically 17 stamina on one bracer, which is like very good. We have the stamina on boots. I could go for the like movement speed, but I feel like I'm not really moving like without Ghost Wolf. Like when I'm fighting, I do try to move in, but right now it's not like I need it. Ultimately, if I go for the best gear possible, you kind of need it. But right now the shards go for 6 gold, so I'm basically going to spend 7 gold on an enchant, and I'd rather not do on something that is probably just a side grade. I could like probably improve it in the future. And we have plus 50 like health on the chest. Overall, very satisfied because I do get 15% crit. With the build I'm going right now, I have 6% hit, which is more than enough in PvP, but I'm level 56, so any extra hit is going to help me fighting like higher levels. Because if I fight a level 59, I'm still missing shit. I would also say like versus like another level 56, I still miss. So I don't know how it goes. Like it feels weird, but there's a lot of classes that have like minus chance on hit or like minus chance on crit. For example, Elemental Shaman has minus chance on crit. For example, here with Elemental Shields. So basically, if you have 10% crit, you could have only 4% versus the Shaman because they have that versus Elemental Shaman. Um, I think you don't have an equivalent for Resto, if I'm not mistaken. While, for example, Bounce Rate has like a 4% hit, but also 4% of not getting hit. And the same for Subtlety Rogue, they have that as well. And I think there are like a few classes that have that on the side as well. I don't think Warriors have that. I don't think Paladins have that. But like you have a few classes that have like such talents. Um, I'm really satisfied about the mental shaman because I think I've like found a build that works really well for me, but will work even better at level 60, which I'm going to show you. Um, Obviously, I want to talk about the gear because a lot of people are like crying about PvP gear being too strong and even too good for PvE, which it is good PvE gear as well, but it's not previous at all. It has no hit on the gear, so if you want to go full PvP gear, be my guest, but you are going to have too little hit. Except if you have it through talents, which some classes want more hit than others. Like for example, casters want a lot of hit. Even like dual wield spec like classes, like for example, rogues or fury warriors, they want a lot of hit. Even enhancement shamans want a lot of hit as well. Although they prefer at one point they prefer crit, but the more hit they can have, the more damage it will do. But crit is probably king or past a certain point of hit. Um, I still think like the gear is pretty underwhelming if you like are watching piece per piece. Like for example, the shoulders for Elemental Shaman is 1% crit, which is for me very cool. I really like crit, but it only has 4 spell power, and I have my Flame Tongue 6, which is the best enchantment I can have right now. It gives me 45 spell damage. I have only 160 spell damage, spell power, excuse me, which is really not a lot. Like I remember when I'm playing on Classic Anniversary on my Shadow Priest, which was not even like well geared at all, had 300 spell damage. Obviously, the spell power. Obviously, it didn't have the amount of crit I have on my Shaman, but it is also not as reliant as crit as Shaman on crit. So that aside, it is not like a pre-bis, it is also not bis. Like it is a good PvP gear, and I think even at level 60, if you can get some 0.5 tier, like dungeon tier, it is mostly like bigger amounts of stamina, bigger amounts of intellect, bigger amounts of spell damage, and maybe a bit less of crit, but it kind of evens itself out, and you can maybe find like a calculator of AP, which is equivalent point, equivalency point or something like that, which basically calculates crit versus spell damage, like spell power, like how much spell power does it equate to crit. For Elemental Shaman, crit is very important. Same for Enhancement Shaman. But obviously, like spell power makes your chain lightning do way more damage, your lightning bolts way more damage when it crits, and you have a guaranteed crit with Elemental Mastery. So that aside, yes, the decrease in damage taken is there, but I find it very important. Like I think PvP without it would be like catastrophic because you can already die very quickly. Like I imagine I'm an elemental shaman, right? If I face people that have no PvP gear, I really notice it. Like I can do 1.5k crits on chain lightning, 1.6k crits. Like I straight up delete people, but when they have PvP gear, there is some like fighting back. They can actually react to stuff. They can actually do something versus me. They can stop me from casting because they have the time to do so. Not like one chain lightning is not going to delete their whole career. While in classic it is like this. Like if you don't stop that one chain lightning, well, you're dead because they're going to also do a frost shock behind it, and you are completely like destroyed with elemental mastery. This is TBC version, so obviously there's no spell batching. So that helps as well. So you're not going to get double deleted with crit, but double critting is like not like something that is extraordinary as well because you have like a lot of crit. Like I have 15% plus also 2% crit from the 4 set, which like again I can crit on the frost shock or earth shock 17% of the time, and then I have my chain lightning and lightning bolt. So people are asking like remove the damage like damage reduction, remove like or nerf it or something. I feel like they don't understand why it is in place. Like PvP without like any damage reduction, is redundant because you get one or two shotted by a lot of classes past a certain point. And a lot of the gear right now that is available on this server is already very strong. Like it is MC or it is MC level. And once MC is coming out, you can bet that it's going to be BWL level, like gearing wise. You could even say some pieces are like tier 3 level. So imagine if you're like in next round and you don't have any damage reduction, then it's going to be very one-sided. And then they're going to say, but why don't you apply it on your spell book like a passive to everyone? Just remove it from PvP gear and just make it global. The issue is if you do that, PvE gear is going to overtake PvP gear all the time, anytime. PvP gear cannot compete with PvE gear because PvE gear is just way more abundant. People like seeing bigger numbers, so you cannot like balance it. So it's not going to happen. So that aside, that's a big conversation that we could have about PvP. I'm talking about Elemental Shaman right now, but like I said, like I think the gearing is in a good space. I would like to see a bit of a buff towards weapons, like for example this weapon, Soldier's Mace, which I have bought for my Enhancement Shaman. It's only 36.5 DPS. It is lower DPS than Crowblade. It is lower DPS than the Storm Strike hammer from AV, the AV reward that you would get by being revered, if I'm not mistaken. The two-hander does less damage than the Ice Barbed Spear from AV. So you know the quest that you would get at level 51, just do it by going AFK in AV, you would get the Ice Barbed Spear, which is 51 DPS. Well, the axe is 46 DPS or something like that. Wait, I can even show you. So level 55 weapons, and then I go to the axe. It is 47.5 DPS. Yes, the top end damage is quite high because it's a slow weapon, but it's still not great. It has 2% crit. That's nice, but I would say that if AV was in the game, which it is not, so hopefully, like again, that's good for the amount of gear that is available to that. It's lower value than being AFK in AV. So for me, this is way too low. The DPS is way too low. The stats, like only 15 stamina on a two-hander. Like you could probably find better stat sticks, green wise. Like I can even show you guys, right? This is 15 stamina, 6 strength. I don't even like 2% crit, which is big. So 2% it is equal to 40 agility for any class, basically except hunters, like rogues. With 40 agility is like 2%. For 40 agility for a warrior, it's also 2% crit, something like that. But like for example, 200 axe. This one is a level 49 axe 2 speed, which is not something you would take for arms warrior, for example. 42 DPS. This one is a new one, which I haven't seen one. It has 18 stamina. For 20 gold, basically you have like nearly a mini two-hander from that's a mini PvP weapon pretty much, but level 47, right? That other weapon was a level 55 weapon. Now I can't find any other weapon. I'm going to try to find a two-hander mace. Let's scroll a bit. I don't think there is like any weapon that is really good. Like for example, this one is a 45 DPS, 40 level 47 rare, right? It's really weird. Like it's not tuned properly. Like they just slapped a 15% nerf, and they said like it's okay. Like for example, this one is a green one. Like that's what I wanted to show. It's a level 52 green, 44 DPS. Not that like it's not really slow. It's 3.4 compared to the 3.6. It is faster. It has 15 stamina, 15 strength. So basically, it has more strength than the two-hander axe from PvP. Obviously, it will miss the 2% crit. But this is literally 6 gold, while the other one is 40 marks, which is equal to more than 10 wins. So I would say like 13 wins and 1 loss, which is like a lot of games that could go to 20 minutes. So it is a grind, guys. Like you don't understand how it is a grind. Obviously, some people like me grind it at lower levels, so they don't need to grind it at level 50 and 59, so I can actually reap my rewards and have fun. But like this is just not properly scaled. Now let's talk about Elemental Shaman. That was a bit of a segue towards that. Let's talk about Elemental Shaman. So I have found a build that matches with what I do and what I have fun with, and it is like a combination of Elemental, Resto, and Enhancement. The idea is behind that Elemental Overload is really cool for PvE, also really cool for PvP. Obviously, if you're like turreting and you're having a lot of like lightning bolts and chain lightning, you will have a lot of value behind that talent. But the issue is you're not really turreting a lot in BGs. Like people know how to play. It's a private server, so it's already very specialized. You're on Gurubashi, so many people that do join Gurubashi, they want to do PvP, so they know about PvP. There are a few people that don't know how to play or they like backpedal and whatnot, but often those are hunters. I'm very sorry, guys. Like it is like very systemic that it is like a hunter that is actually doing that, but they know that they're not going to let blue cast. Like Train Blue has been a thing since vanilla, pretty much. Vanilla, TBC, Wrath, Cataclysm, even the War Within retail, Train Blue is a thing. So if you are actually casting 3 lightning bolts in a row, you should be very, very lucky. Like you should be treating yourself as very lucky and probably play the lotto, because if like 3 hunters are not hitting you for some reason, I don't know what they're doing. They're AFK pretty much. So in my mind was like Elemental Overload, very good talent in PvE, very good talent when it works in PvP because it does actually 50% more damage for your lightning bolts, chain lightning, and molten blast. Like you have a 20% chance to like 50% your damage extra, which is a very good talent. But you're not really casting. Like I wish the shocks was also inside of it, then it would become like an instant pick. But it's only chain lightnings, lightning bolts, and molten blast. So obviously, I was thinking, I need the nature swiftness, so I decided to go for nature swiftness. I need extra crit, which is title mastery. So I have actually 2 talents, like 6 talent points, but like 2 talents that are like must-haves for me because I want to be able to crit a lot. My mana problems are basically because I don't crit or don't crit nearly enough, and my burst is low because I need to crit. And if I don't crit, it feels bad to do 500 lightning bolts on a target with 4k health. So it means that I have to cast 8 times lightning bolt, which takes 2 seconds times 8, 16 seconds to actually kill someone, which is very long in PvP. Like standing still, doing 8 lightning bolts and getting a kill is very long if you don't crit. So obviously, I'm going into the mindset of I want to have as much crit as possible. So I have Cool Call of Thunder, which is 5%. I have the Tidal Mastery, which is also 5% for lightning bolts and chain lightning. So I have 10% increased damage, like crit chance on lightning bolt and chain lightning, which is like lightning spells, plus 15%, which I think you could go even higher if you like get a crit belt, a crit wrist. You could go maybe a crit neck. You can even go like maybe a crit like one-handed, like something like that. You can go easily like towards the 20%, and that's without like buffs from other people, right? So you could go 20% plus 10%. You would have a 30% crit, which basically just makes you a killing machine at that point. But 25% is already very good. Then you have your elemental mastery, which is like a guaranteed one, and obviously you have nature swiftness, which is a instant one. So what I would do is start with a lightning bolt, then do elemental mastery, nature swiftness together with a chain lightning, and at that point I can do a earth shock or a frost shock or a flame shock depending on the situation. And that is a lot of burst. You could actually like destroy a whole team with the nature swiftness, elemental mastery, chain lightning. But you could also destroy just like a flag carrier very easily, if you do get the time to cast, obviously. Or some people do purge it off, which kind of sucks, but that can happen. Some few things to note. For example, the 5 out of 5 healing wave into 5 out of 5 totemic focus, which helps you with totems. And fire nova is a big portion of your damage, makes it very efficient actually. Like a AoE 500 like fire damage, like without counting spell power, is like massive if you're hitting like 5 people, 4 people, 3 people. Like that's like a lot of value. And if you pair it up with a nature swiftness, elemental mastery, chain lightning, you could literally decimate a whole team if they're like near you. So that's a fun thing to do. And you have like more mana by having totemic focus as well. Healing focus helps me to actually do some healing and some off healing, because then I put like my stone skin or my grass, because people like stone claw, because some people do hit like totems and then they get stunned, which is kind of hilarious, but because they don't see the names, they just see, oh, it's a green totem, it must be a slow, and then they're hitting it and they're getting stunned. Earthbind totem, which is like, again, the totem that you most likely are going to have it up most of the time. And then you're going to be able to do lesser healing waves, for example. And you have more crit on that because you have Tidal Mastery, which can help you sustain. And then you have sometimes a healing wave, which can do some big amount of heal. And if it does crit, then it's like, again, you're healthy again. I have 1% hit here. Again, interchangeable. You can put it in Totem Mastery. You can put it in Healing Focus. To be fair, like a lot of stuff is interchangeable. Now I was thinking like PvP doesn't feel good without instant Ghost Wolf. Like having to cast Ghost Wolf sucks, and I've PvP'd with instant Ghost Wolf as elemental, which is with this build. 41 points into elemental shaman, so I have a Totem of Wrath, 8 points into restoration because I want to be able to go lower and lower towards the initial swiftness, which, to be fair, it's very hard to get if you have 41 points in elemental shaman, so that's not going to happen. And I would want 7 points into enhancement, and I was playing like that, and it felt good, but it felt like, oh, I still have difficulties casting no matter what. Like, I do really need nature swiftness. This is actually very good for like dungeons, but like for PvP, the only thing that is good is elemental mastery and improved ghost wolf. So I was thinking, like, do I really need this? Do I need this? Do I need Totem of Wrath? Do I need the Elemental Warding? Like, do I have difficulties versus mages? No, I don't really have difficulties versus mages. So do I need to have it? No, not really. Do I need to have 5% more damage on like my stuff? No, not really, because I'm not really having that much difficulties killing people if I do cast, but I do need to cast. So I was like thinking, okay, what is mandatory? Okay, elemental mastery, my crit, the hit, obviously the storm reach, rolling thunder. Since I have a lot of crit, why not? I have improved fire totems, which again, Fire Nova is my all-time favorite totem. Pops very quickly. Having that improved because of Call of Flame, obviously Fire and Lightning Mastery. Like, those are things that those are mandatories. What is extra? Elemental Overload, Elemental Shields, Totem of Wrath. Now, what is necessary? I need the Nature Swiftness, I need the Tidal Mastery, I need something that makes me able to heal, and that's it. But now, what is missing? The mobility. So instead of putting those 7 points into elemental, which would help me to get elemental overload, I decided to use the 7 points into enhancement so I can get an instant ghost wolf. Instant ghost wolf makes you more likely to kite, makes it more likely to survive, because if you're like in ghost wolf, they might purge it off, dispel you off, and try to cast a 2-second Ghost Wolf in a world where pushback is bugged. Because for me, this is bugged. I don't know if it's like the purpose of it, but it feels like pushback is so terrible versus Hunters, Rogues, and Ferals that I don't really remember it was like this in TPC or in Vanilla. But it might be. Again, we don't really have a great talent as elemental to get like any pushback towards everything, so we don't have that. So Instant Ghost Wolf is a necessity because I want to be mobile to do a Frost Shock into Ghost Wolf, or to Earthbind into Ghost Wolf, or Grounding Totem into Ghost Wolf, or being able to catch up the Hunter to be in its dead zone, not dead zone, but like in his melee range, let's say like that, because they don't really have a dead zone anymore. Or to be able to kite away a rogue by having, for example, Poison Dispel on me, Frost Shock into Ghost Wolf, so I can actually put some distance. He'll do a Shadow Step, and then I try to survive again to get away ASAP, and then probably set up something that might make me win the game, obviously. Those are the things that are making me think, like, I really need that talent. I have to sacrifice damage. But the reality is, if you're dead, you're not really doing any damage, so I actually kind of gain some damage by doing that. Now, there's a lot of terrorization, and the truth is, I think in arenas this is the play. You need the instant cast elemental mastery, you need the ghost wolf, you need the survivability that you could gain from restoration, and also the increased intellect, which always is quite nice. Like, it gives you a bit of crit extra as well. So I think that's the play, to play 33 21 points into restoration. I don't know why they changed position on this, but whatever. 33, 7, 21 on a normal like talent thing, but basically this 33, 21, 7 on my screen. And this will be enabled at level 60. Now, this doesn't take away that this build actually is enjoyable right now. You can basically do this build, so the 33, 21, so 33 elemental, 21 restoration. You can do that at level 54, if I'm not mistaken. At 54 you can do that. I'm level 56. At 54 you can do that, and that basically is your Thun enabled. Now at level 55 your crit is enabled because you have the crit build, like the crit PvP build from the marks that you can gain and spend on vendors. and it is way more enjoyable. Like in PvP, I have like 4.2k health unbuffed, which is immense. Like I think level 60, my level 60 warrior rank 14 has 5k health unbuffed. So I guess season 1 PvP gear will get me above 5k. That's what I think. And I don't even have the best gear ever. Like I think I could like get better belt, better neck, better wrist, maybe better ring, definitely a better weapon. I think the weapon is kind of terrible. I think like any weapon from MC is going to do probably better. For example, so obviously once MC is out, I think the season 1 PvP gear is also going to come out. So I guess it's going to be in a good level. But like I assume they want maybe PvP to do also some PvE. I'm going to assume that so I don't get like disappointed. But overall, like this is how I like to play Elemental Shaman. Now I understand like some people struggle with it. I feel like people start complaining about Elemental Shaman because they start doing like I can literally do 2.5k on like 2 costs if I do get lucky on the second crit, and that's without counting the Earth Shock or the Frost Shock or Flame Shock that is going to come afterwards. It's also not counting the fact that Bloodlust is a thing, so you can be doing a Bloodlust in arenas or in Warsong Gulch, most likely because in TVC you can do that. Fire Elemental, which is also very big and does incredible damage, which I have seen. Obviously, in PvE, it kind of sucks with Totem of Wrath because they assume you have to Totem of Wrath, but Fire Elemental has a 2 minute duration, so that kind of sucks. Um, and obviously, in PvP, Fire Nova, Searing Totem are both very high value to like ability suppress. So you have to look forward to what you can do to get the damage going. But overall, like I kind of like what I'm doing right now. So I would say if you're thinking about going elemental or like enhancement shaman, you kind of want to go elemental. Like it gets better with the levels. It gets better with gear. Like you're really gear dependent because you are a caster first and foremost. You're also a very spell rank dependent class. Like I got now my last lightning bolt and chain lightning rank, which basically makes me like at the top of my level at level 56. I think level 59 even more, at level 60 even more, because the more gear you will have, the more spell power you will have, the more damage you will have. And right now I'm leather working. I am actually dragon scale leather worker. The way I make money is now with like the soul shaker and get like the mats prepared on auction house for example the bigger items like devil sword and the other dragon scale thingies, gear that you can have, for example the dragon scale breastplate, not breastplate, excuse me, the black dragon scale breastplate, which to be fair should be buffed because it's not even a previous, but that aside, I think they should like do something with Dragon Scale. Like if it feels like Dragon Scale leather workers didn't really get anything new in my books, or like not anything that is worthwhile to do. So hopefully they do something, or like recipes are going to come out that I haven't seen, but like the recipes that I haven't known are not really that worthwhile. That's what I see, and that's what I say. But since I'm leather worker, I can get, for example, the rugged protector's kit, which is basically 160 stamina, like 160 health more for 1 hour. So I can do that as well. So I would have a whopping 17 stamina plus 16 stamina on just the wrists. And that's the only counting the wrists. So that could be the play. Or I could go, for example, for 16 spell power, but I feel like 16 spell power, 160 health, I think the health outweighs it because you need to do 10 casts to outweigh the health that you would gain. So basically, you need to do 10 lightning bolts, and that 16 spell power is going to then overtake the 160 health that you would get from the stamina. I don't know if I make sense, but for me it makes sense that the health is more valuable, at least until I can do 10 spell casts. I think in a free game where I'm like super free, this is the best. But in a game where I don't get that many casts, I think the stamina is way more worth. in general. But that's very cool as well. So I get that. I think skinning is not really valuable for PvP. Like Beast of the Wild kind of sucks for PvP. It's good for like PvE though, like Dragonkins and Beasts. So that's probably going to be meta for, let's say, like MC and whatnot. With Dragonkin, like not MC for P2PL for Dragonkin. That could be interesting. But yeah, it's not mandatory. I think if you can really choose your own like professions, I'm going to make it like a guide. This is not really a guide, but like at level 6 I will be making a guide about professional, like about elemental shaman for everything, like professions, the gameplay, the rotation, maybe some duels and whatnot. I'm going to do a big guide for that, so look forward to that. Like any class I'm going to play, I'm going to make guides, so that's going to happen. But like basically leatherworking, and then obviously you have engineering, which is also a must-have in PvP, in my opinion. If you can like dislearn skinning, you can decide to go engineering and spend a bit of money for that, and like doing the grenades, doing the rocket boots and whatnot is probably going to be the play. But like I like skinning because that's my my money making machine. Like that's the only way I can make money right now. I think enchanting is quite cool for the ring enchants. I think tailoring is quite good for the cloak enchant. Like those are things that you can like look forward to like use in PvP. But I'll be discussing it in a future guide. If you are interested, please do subscribe. Please do watch, like the videos, comment the video, share the video with friends. Project Epoch has like a tight community, so my reach is not going to be like super big, obviously, but I think a lot of people do enjoy the videos I'm making. So by showing that you like the videos, I'll be obviously more inclined to do those kinds of videos. Again, thank you for watching. Have a great day. I wish I could do some PG gameplay for you guys, but the video has already been 32 minutes long, but I think I've shown everything I wanted to show, and I'll be leveling an alt very soon, and I'll be level 60 very soon for the guide and the like overall review of the server. So I have only like positive things to say, but some people might want to hear what I want to say about Epoch. Again, have a great day. Bye.